This is the solution for Evan's Chapter 3, Problem 9, which asks us to open up and work on banking data file here. And problem number 9 is going to work with data bars, color scales, and icon sets to conditionally format the data so you can quickly visualize this without even sorting. You'll notice that we have 6 columns of data. None of them are sorted. Perhaps this came in, the only sort on this may be over time, is that each one of these pieces of data came in over time, but we don't have anything in the file that sorts this out. So when we use the conditional formatting, that'll help our eye figure out where some of the large, medium, and small values are in certain ranges. So the first part of the problem asks us to do data bars to visualize the relative values of median home value. So we'll grab the data in that range, and then from the Home tab in Excel, we're given a selection for conditional formatting. And under that, we have data bars, color scales, and icon sets, which we'll be using in problem 9. So one thing to notice in the drop-down menu from this, that as you roll over these conditional formats, it actually shows up in your data set. So it's very nice. You can actually see it before you select it. Find something that's easy on the eyes and descriptive and adds to the story but doesn't take away from it. We'll also notice that there's 2 different groups here. One of them is gradient fill, and the other is solid fill. And I believe you'll see the gradient fill is a little bit easier to read, but the end of the bar drifts off. By nature, the end of the bar is lighter than the start of the bar, so your eye might not catch it as sharply. You might have to do some reformatting in here to get things to work just right. But in addition to these 2 template sections that we have, we can pick templates that are already assigned. We can go into more rules. Each of these conditional formatting tabs brings us back to more rules, or brings us to more rules, and you can actually do some different ranges in here and different kinds of formatting, and we'll use that by the end of problem 9. So we're going to go in and we're going to do data bars for this, and it doesn't really matter here, whatever's pleasant to you. I don't have any hard rules here as to what to select, but I tend to like the orange here because you can read behind it. And let's just select that. So there we have our data. I'm not sure if you feel that's benefiting us or maybe hindering us on this. Let's go back and take another look at some formatting here, because we didn't get all the colors that we possibly could under data bars. They give us some pre-selected colors up here. Let's just try picking a different color. So down here we can select color. We're going to go in, let's just try gold or yellow and take a look at it and see how that looks. Is that any better? I tend to believe that looks a little better, and we're using solid bars on this, it looks like. So I think your eye can catch that maybe a little bit better, and you don't have to do any reformatting of the numbers. That's just a preference here. There's no specific answer to this. And remember, there's things that you're going to have to do. You'd have to take a look at what it looks like on the screen here. And the color and perception of this changes when you project it and when you print it. So you have to keep in mind where this data is ending up. Where are you going to publish this or present this? So the second part of the problem is using median household wealth. Use color scales to do that. So we'll select the data in the median household wealth and go back up here and do conditional formatting. But this time we're going to use color scales. And this could be considered a heat map, if you will, depending on what colors you want to pick. So colors have a lot to do with presentation, emotional response, and they influence our minds quite a bit. So if you use shades of green, you get something like this. You can actually see a little bit of orange in there. It's a pretty broad range in the color scale that they use here. And as you range across here, you can pick a scale that might reflect the type of data you're using and the type of audience you might be going to. So again, remember, one reason I brought up the fact that this is not ordered is that this conditional formatting helps our eye pick up what some of the extreme values are, what the middle values are, highs, lows, mids. That's the big purpose of doing this formatting. I mean, personally, blue here doesn't really do anything to me, but it might take a little bit more thought. That might be the way to go. And so we're going to pick green's positive and kind of easy on the eyes. I'm just going to leave it at that. So there we have green. Now that we've done data bars and color scales, the part C here asks us to use an icon set to show high, medium, and low bank balances, where high is above $30,000 $10,000, and low is below $10,000, and median is anywhere in between. So we need in our icon set to show 3 different levels. We'll grab our data here. We go into conditional formatting, and it's asking us to take a little bit closer look at what's going on. But while we're here at this drop-down menu, there's different kinds of categories of icon sets, and you can see you can use directional, you can use shapes, or shapes and colors. The colors of the shapes are all the same, and the colors will indicate the range that it's in. Other kinds of indicators, quick look at check marks, exclamation point, and X's, things like that. And then there's certain ratings, like on internet rating scales, such things. If we roll over the bars here for, it looks like cell phone signal strength kind of bars, that's kind of hard to see. So you got to keep in mind how much detail is used in each one of these data sets. So what they're asking us to do is take a closer look at how to maybe program this thing up for the range that we're asking here, the average bank balance. Now, when we go back one level, and we look at conditional formatting under icon sets, notice that you can use 3 ranges. There's 3 icons here. There's 4 icons here. You can have a range of 4 icons. And you can even have a range of 5 icons. That's pretty much it. That's what they give us here in the icon set. Because remember, you don't want to overburden the cell with too much graphics. You already have something in there. You have numbers and such in there. So you can add up between 3 to 5 types of icons in each one of these. So what we have to do is work on our ranges here. And if you look at it, it set us up because it knows or wants us to go after 3 ranges in our data. We can actually go into here and select all the way up to 5. It actually gives us the types of icons when we even want 5 categories here. But we're going to stick to 3. That's what the problem wanted us to do. And so let's choose our icons that we're going to use on this. Let's use arrows. And we could go, the monochrome ones are nice. It doesn't hurt your eyes as much. But for the fun of it, I guess we'll use a color. Here's the 3 ranges of color. Red meaning low, yellow meaning neutral in the middle, and green meaning good. I mean, I tend to think that's how we take a look at it. Okay, so we'll choose that grouping to use. And then it asks us to give us the values for each one of these icons, starting at the highest, the largest. Okay, this is set up for percent. By default, it gives us the upper third, the middle third, and the lower third is how this is set up. And we're going to have to go to the actual numbers here. So we know the number range that we want, and we're going to put in here, it's going to be green if the user has greater than $30,000. We're going to change that because they've asked us for something specific. They said greater than, not greater than or equal to. The second range would be greater than or equal to, because this is the range, if you looked at the way that the problem was specified, I'm going to put in 10,000 there. So if anything's equal to 10,000 up to equal to 30,000, we're going to get the neutral middle mark here, the sort of sideways horizontal arrow that we get here. And we're going to change that from percent over to number. Okay. Okay. That's pretty much it. Let that ride. And there you have your icon set here over on the left. And we've pretty much completed what they wanted us to do. So you can do a quick eyeball down here. You can unsorted data. You can take a look through here and look for reds. Oh dear, there's reds down here. Maybe we ought to talk to these people for whatever reason and talk to them about putting more of their salary back into the bank or something, into their bank account. That's it. It's pretty much it. The solution for problem 9 out of chapter 3 of Evans.